Okay, today we're going to be doing a gun and a target system. So basically, there'll be a target, and basically you just shoot it with the gun X amount of times, and then it will make the target blow up or whatever. Basically, we're just going to be using the raycasting from the other tutorial, but we're going to be checking to see if the raycast actually hit anything this time, and it's going to be pretty cool. So I'm going to start by making a C++ project, first person, and I'm going to call this my gun. Go create project. So basically, yeah, we're going to be using an M16 model, by the way. We could use the generic gun that comes with it, but I am going to include a M16 because I think it's kind of cool. So to include the M16, by the way, that is inside of gun assets, and just drag the files in. I will link that in the description, so you guys can go ahead and download that. And there's a Tiger file, and Tiger is basically just a texture for the gun, and then obj is the object itself. So if I open up the Tiger, we will get something like this. This is basically all of the texturing. And then the obj is the shape. So once the editor loads, I will import those. So the first thing we're going to do is just go here and then new folder, models, and then we will drag and drop those in. So like so, just find those and drag those in. Now when you get the option to import the model, import it as a skeletal. Okay, so we're inside of the editor. The first thing we're going to do is replace the player's gun. So if we click on the player, and then go into the components and go to FP gun, we'll now need to change this to the gun. So as you can see, the gun is not on the right angle, so we'll rotate that so it's a little bit better, and basically just move that into place. And the scale's down, so I'm going to scale it up by 2.5, should be good. There, so now we actually have a normal sized gun. Now you might notice it doesn't have the texture on it, so to get the texture, all we do is just drag the weapon material on. Now, as you can see, here's the texture here. We right click, create material, and then go, I guess that's an alright name, that'll do. What we do now is just drag and drop that onto the weapon. And for some reason that didn't create a material properly. That's weird. Let me see what I've done wrong there. Save that. Create material. Oh, there we go, now the material's loaded. Okay, so the material's on the gun. Let's load the gun into position. I'm not going to worry too much about getting the positioning perfect, but we'll set the snap size to 1 just so we can move it around a bit better. But like I said, I'm not super worried, so I won't make it crazy good, but I'll make it a little bit better than that. Move that up a little bit. Alright, I mean that's not the best, you could probably move it so it's a little bit better than that, but that'll do for now. So if I try shooting, right now it shoots a ball, and it doesn't shoot a raycast or anything like that, and we can't detect if we've hit anything. So let's write our own functionality to do that for us. So the first thing we're going to do is go into our C++ classes, and I'm going to add a class. I'm going to add an actor and call it target. Create class. So open up in our source, open up your my gun character, and open the header and the CPP for that. So once we have these open, we're kind of just going to be changing the input around a little bit. So right now on the CPP, if you shoot, it calls the on fire function. So as you can see there, we've called that. And all that does is spawn a projectile. I'm going to edit this a little bit so that it doesn't spawn a projectile. So we find that, there it is there. This line where it says world spawn actor, we'll get rid of that. Now we'll keep all of this stuff here for now. And all of our code for raycasting is just going to go under all this other code for firing. I could take some of this out, but this is quite important because it does play a nice little fire animation for us, and it also plays a shooting sound. So if we took that out, it would just look a little bit, yeah, not as good. We do want it to look nice, so we'll just keep all that in there for now. And so let's start writing some code to check if we hit a target. Obviously the target isn't actually made yet. I guess we'll start with the target. Why not write the target first? So first thing we're going to do is void on destroy. So this is going to be called when the target runs out of health. We're going to have float health. And we're going to have void damage target. And that takes a parameter called float damage. Now it's always good practice to comment all of your code, so let's just put a comment here. This function takes a value from, I guess it takes a value and damages the target with that value. Probably not the best description, but it'll do, I guess. And then we'll say at param damage, so we're describing what the parameter called damage does. So at param damage, this is the amount to damage the target by. And then float health, we'll just comment that this is a value from 0 to 100 and represents the health of the target. And then on destroy, this, in fact we can just call this, I don't want to call it destroy because there's already a function called destroy. I guess we'll call it destroy target, I guess works. And we'll say this is the function that is called when the target's health falls below 0. Now we'll implement this function using Visual Studio. Just right click, quick actions, create declaration / definition, and that'll allow us to make the function nice and fast. Or in this case really slow because Visual Studio has to load everything. Very annoying, but whatever. You know what? I'm just going to write it myself because it's probably faster. We'll just copy and paste that. Put it over in the CPP. And then we'll put a target before that. And then there we go. So we'll just put that in there ourselves. And then also we'll implement our destroy target function. So destroy target. And that didn't take any parameters. Okay, so we've got our functions here. Inside of the constructor, I also just want to say that the target's health is equal to 100 by default. You could change that and make it higher if you wanted it to be higher. And also we're going to use a use static mesh. So this is the static mesh for the component. Use static mesh component target mesh. So inside the constructor we're going to initialize that mesh as well, so target mesh equals create default subobject. Default subobject. And then that is going to be of type use static mesh, of course. So use static mesh component. And my IntelliSense is not working and that is really pissing me off. Okay. So we'll go text and then pick up mesh. Okay, I don't think we need to do anything else. I guess may as well set the root component equal to the target mesh. Why not? Alright, so that's basically everything set up. The damage target thing is going to be quite easy. It's going to say health minus equals damage. IntelliSense doesn't work, I don't know what to say. Very frustrating. If health goes below, so if health is less than or equal to 0, then call the destroy target function. Now in this case you could add some extra functionality, but inside of destroy target I'm actually just going to call the destroy function. But if you wanted to make it so that the target blows up before it is destroyed or whatever, you could put that in there. But I'm just putting destroy in there for now. Okay, so that's pretty much our target. Let's change our on fire function so it now does a raycast and sees if it hits anything. So if hit result equals new if hit result. So we're gonna make that on the stack like we did in the last tutorial, or the heap I should say. The start trace is equal to the position of the first person camera component, or the location or whatever. So get component location, and there we go. If vector forward vector equals first person camera component get forward vector, and then the end trace is going to be equal to the forward vector times 2000, and then we're going to add the start trace onto that, so plus start trace. And again, IntelliSense has just decided it is not going to work today. I think it's because there's so many files that the Unreal Engine has to load on or something like that. And then we will initialize the query params as well. So if collision query params, trace params, and again make that on the stack. There we go. And these need to be pointers as well. Alright, so now that we've made all of those variables for raycasting, we can actually cast a array. So if getWorld line trace single by channel, and we'll pass in the hit result, the start trace, the end trace, the collision channel, which in this case is ECC visibility, which basically just means that anything that is visible will count as a hit, and then the trace parameters. So if our raycast hits something, let's we'll do a debug line as well, because why not? And to draw a debug line, we're going to have to change the engine type from engine minimal to engine. You can do that in mygun.h. Alright, so we have casted our array. Now we need to see if we've actually hit anything. And basically, if we have hit anything, that will be stored inside of our hit result. So, let's see here. The first thing we'll do is just draw a debug line, just so we can see the force that our raycast took. So start trace, end trace, the color, and we'll make as green because why not? And then we will say we do not want persistent lines, and the lifetime of a line should be 5 seconds. Okay, this part is the part that is a little bit harder. We need to actually see if we've hit a target or not. because our raycast might hit a bunch of things, but we only want to do something if we've hit our target. First thing we're going to do is include target.h, which is a header file for our target. And now we need to try making a target out of whatever we've hit. So a target, test target, equals cast, and we're casting the hit results actor, and then we need to call the get function on that. Oops. We are casting it into a target, of course. That goes inside there. Right. So basically we're saying whatever actor we've hit, get that actor and try to cast that actor into a target. So now we're going to see if it was successful or not. So if test target is not equal to null. You can also just say if test target like that, and that does the exact same thing, but I like saying not equal to null because it's a little bit more obvious what you're actually doing. A little bit more explicit. I'm also going to say and test target is pending kill. And then we're going to put an exclamation mark in front of that. So if the test target is not pending kill and it is not equal to null, then we can do something with that. And in this case, I'm going to say test target damage target, and let's do 50 points of damage to the target. So it should take us 2 shots to take down our target. So let's compile our code, pray to Jeebus that it works, and if it does, we'll be able to test out our little target system. We will be able to shoot our targets, and since we are dealing 50 points of damage, they should die in 2 hits. And I actually have no idea how long this is going to take to compile. If it runs over like 30 seconds, I will pause the recording. But yeah, what's going to happen is basically we'll shoot, and it's going to call the onFire function. It's going to cast a raycast. If it hits one of our targets, then we're calling that damage target function. If it doesn't hit one of our targets, then nothing will happen. Except for a debug line being drawn. So let's drag one of our targets that we made into our game. Just drag and drop it in there. And then click on root component. And, we might have to not make that static mesh the root component. Let's go into our target. And we'll just take that line out there. So we initialize the target mesh, but it cannot be the root component. We'll recompile that. And we'll get rid of this. Got target. And we'll delete target 1. So target 20, or this new target that we dragged in. Click on pickup mesh. The reason we cannot edit it is because it is not a U property. That was stupid of me. So we're going to say U property, and then give it the edit anywhere. So now what we're saying is we can edit the pickup mesh wherever we like. Alright, so that's already, and now if we click on target mesh, now we can actually give it a mesh. So I'm just going to give it this, well, let's just say, we'll give it the first person projectile mesh, because why not? And we can shoot, and it casts this little line here, and if we shoot the target, it disappears after taking 2 hits of damage. So this is essentially just using those raycasts that we did in the last tutorial. I threw in a little M16 mesh because I thought it was cool, but basically this is more just a follow-up to that last video I did on raycasting. Still doing the raycast, but now we're sort of checking if they hit anything, and then we can damage the actors. So this would essentially be like if you wanted to do a multiplayer game, this is how you would have enemies in it. If you wanted to, you could have some code that makes the target move around. But anyways guys, that was sort of a gun and target system, and I'll see you in the next video.